Hi, it's Bowman here. Welcome to my video lesson for Radio Shack by Vulfpeck. This is the first time I've done a Vulfpeck song. Done lots of Corys and Fearless Flyer tracks. It's the first time I'm tackling one of theirs, and it's a great one to start with. If you haven't heard it already, let's have a little listen. So it's a very funky track and a lot of fun to play, so I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. There are links below to my Facebook and Instagram pages. It'd be great to have you following me on there too. There's also a link to a donation page. Finally, as always, there is a link to the PDF tab, so get yourself a copy of that to play along with. Okay, let's zoom in and we'll get started with the lesson. Okay, before we dive into playing this, it'd be good to have a look at the tempo and also the kind of the feel of this track, because it's a little bit different. We're in the key of B major or G minor, kind of switching between the major and the minor. There's a lot of other passing chords thrown in there, and we'll look at those as we go through the lesson. Tempo wise, I've put this at 82 beats per minute, but I've also seen some transcriptions at 164. If you load the song into any tune, the software I use, it does actually say 164, and I think that is because the snare is hitting on the and of every beat, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... That's the kind of feel that I get to the song. If it was 164, it'd be 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. That just feels too fast for me for this song. I think the actual feel is a slower groove, but with that kind of fast snare beat going on. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I've put it at 82 beats per minute. Ultimately, it does make a massive difference. It's half the speed. You'd be looking at 8th notes instead of 16th notes. The other thing is the feel for this. Cory and Joe are very much grooving away together, kind of like a driving 16th note rhythm. And Theo is playing some cool licks over the top of it. But when you actually slow it down and listen to it, he's actually playing quite a bit behind the beat in places. So it's not perfectly in time, and that's deliberate. It's giving you that kind of feel, that almost that video game arcade kind of sound that makes the song sound so good. So here's a little example of it slowed down quite a bit, and you can probably see what I mean. So you can hear there some examples of where the lead parts aren't really hitting on the beat as you'd expect them to. And if you listen to the Guitar Pro version at the end, because I've written it all out exactly on the beat at 16th notes, it doesn't have the same sound and feel to it. So it's something to think about when you're playing along with it. You're not aiming for an exact in the grid kind of rhythm for this lead. It's very clever how they've done it to get that sound. It really works. So have a think about that when you're playing through it. So what I'm going to do first is have a quick look at what Cory's playing, but not in too much detail. We'll go through kind of the principle of it and give you some ideas, and the rest I think you can pick up from the tablature. And then we'll have a look in a bit more in depth at what Theo is playing. Okay, throughout most of this, Cory is playing 16th notes, and he's playing it all as downstrokes. If you watch the video of him, you can see him playing it. So it's all kind of a chuggy bit of palm muting going on, and it's mostly either single notes or octaves in places. So we're starting off with the intro here, starting off the 6th fret on your A string, up to the 9th fret, back to the 8th fret, up to the 10th fret, and then repeat, 6th fret, 9th fret, and end up on the B flat, which is when Theo comes in. If we have a quick look at what he's playing in the verse, it's kind of built around, we're going from like a D7 chord, G minor. So we definitely now move from the B flat to the G minor, which is the relative minor of B flat, if you know your theory. Same notes, same number of flats. So starting here on D, 5th of the G minor. And then walking down the chromatic here on your bottom string down to the G. And then up to the 3rd, the minor 6th, and then back. So it's this kind of pattern's repeated all the way through these verse kind of sections, I guess you would call it, as Theo's playing his lead parts. So then we repeat exactly the same. The only difference is we do 4 on each of those 6th fret notes. And that keeps going through until we get towards the end of the verse, and we're going to go. So again, we're starting on the G, 4 16th notes, and then we add the octave G on your D string, 5th fret. Play that 3 times, and then we've got this kind of, I put it as a 32nd note. So you're doubling it up, and then we're moving up to the 6th and 8th frets. So the final beat of that bar. So he does this quite a bit throughout the rhythm, adding those 32nd note rhythms and doubling it up in places to give it that kind of. And then we end up at this 11th fret and 13th fret on your E and D strings, E flat. And the next bit, the timing, you need to have a good listen to it and think about it. So at the start of the bar we're hitting the 11th and 13th frets, we're then going to hit the 5th fret on your A and then the 3rd fret on your bottom E. In terms of the timing, if you think about it, that 5th fret is on the 2E and A. So we've gone 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4. That last one is on the downbeat on 4. So it's good to be counting this in your head, get the feel of it when you're playing along with it. So 1E and 2E and 3E and 4. It's kind of the rhythm you're going for. Then we hit the 3rd fret on your A string, and then back to that B flat to the root note on your 6th fret on your E. Slide it up to the E again, so back to sharp 5, which keeps coming back. Then we do the 6th fret again, which is the same as what we played up here. That pretty much repeats. We stay at the end on that A. Then go back into the verse section. Cory's part pretty much repeats. There's a few changes to the rhythms, a few of the times where he's adding those 32nd notes in. So you can have a look at those. It goes all the way through again into the plays do the same, but this time at the end of that section there's kind of like a distorted lead part that's also playing along some harmonies with the synth. So I've transcribed both parts, so the actual rhythm part for the guitar keeps the clean rhythm, keeps on going 7th fret to the 7th fret on your A, so it's going B to an E. But then the lead part is going. So I've put those on the tablature together, they're not to be played at the same time, it's 2 guitar parts, so just makes it easier to put it all on one, so you can play either basically at that point. Theo's playing a different harmony, which we'll look at later, and also I think the synth is playing a 3rd harmony, so it sounds really big at that point. It's a cool little lick starting on the 7th fret here, your B string sliding in. Now these notes are not in the key of B flat or G minor. Very much almost moved to E major here, so that's where those notes are coming from. Okay, after that part there's kind of a different melody that Theo's playing, which we'll look at, and Cory's playing an octave rhythm part. So still the 16th notes, I'm starting off in the 6th and the 8th frets. I'm not going to go through it all. You can have a look at the tablature. Again, have a look at the rhythm, there's some of those 32nd notes coming in as well. So have a look at the tablature for the rest of Cory's parts. It's pretty much what we've looked at, a few small variations, but he's very much just providing that driving rhythm along with Joe. The only bit I will mention is in bar 48. So at the end of that little section, instead of playing there, we're now playing similar kind of melody, but we're all on the B string here, 10th fret, 12th fret, bend up, 12, 10, 9, different melody there. And then at the end of the song, again Theo's playing that second melody and Cory's playing a lot of octaves, building up until the very end. Finishes on a E flat power chord. Spelling out the E flat major chord. This one here, put up an octave. Put up the octave. Up here. Double stop sliding in from a semitone below each time, so 16, 14 into the chord. And playing the triad there, and sliding in again from a below, and then playing the top triad on the top 3 strings. So that's the end of Cory's parts. Relatively simple and straightforward. Okay, so let's have a look at what Theo's playing in the track. So he actually comes in bar 4. That's when the band stopped. Like that. So a lot of this, for Theo's part, based around this G minor pentatonic, or B flat major pentatonic, and the corresponding minor / major scale. So we're starting off 6th fret on your B string. So 6, 4, 3 on your B string, and then bend your 5th fret up before you hit it and release it. Like that. And then it gets into the kind of little melody that he's playing here. Variations of which keep reappearing throughout the song. So it's just a little pentatonic lick, mostly on your G string, 5, 3, 5. Adding the blue note, the flat 5 there. When we're hitting these 3rd frets, down to the 5th fret, give it a little quarter note bend just to make it sound good. And then we're going to walk up. Fingerings, I've tried to take this as much as possible from where he's playing on the video. So you could play that. But it looks like he's playing. Other thing about a lot of this, it's very clipped and staccato. We go up, and then the next variation of this is where we slide down, grace note slide from the 6th to the 5th fret on G string. So all you're doing here, starting on your 6th fret, plucking it and immediately sliding down to the 5th fret. Then we end up with this little lick. 6th fret bending up, and then bending down again, 5th fret, so starting with it bent up and releasing it. That kind of repeats. That time no 6th fret that last time round. So just going down here in a little pentatonic run. 5, 3, 5, 3, 1, bent up again. That quarter tone bend. Some lovely little funky bluesy licks in here. Then the next part's actually the keyboard playing it. Theo comes in halfway through with kind of like a harmony line, but I've transcribed it for guitar as well so you can play along with the whole thing. I've put on the tablature the first time it happens to say this is the keyboard part and this is where the guitar comes in. It starts off. And that is all keyboard. We're still in this B flat major, G minor shape. So starting with the 3rd fret. Again, nice and clip. Then the guitar comes in, 3rd fret. So 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then slide up twice. Make sure you're looking at the rests in here to get those pauses in. Have a listen to how Theo's playing it so you can hear those spaces that are coming through, which makes it sound very funky and syncopated. And then he's adding a harmony, which goes like this. Again, same scale we're using. To there. So again, it's still all this major slash minor pattern that you're hopefully already familiar with. And then it ends with this little lick, which reminds me of ABBA for some reason. Money, money, money. I'll be showing my age there. Bend that up a quarter note, and then we're back to that melody again. I'm not going to go through every variation of that. Have a look at the tablature. Sometimes you're mixing up slides with bends. Sometimes he's putting that 6th fret in. Sometimes it's just have a look at the tablature rather than me go through each one individually, but I will look at each of the licks that he plays at the end of that. Having said that, this next bar is slightly different. It goes like this. Like that. So again, we're doing the same sliding, but we're now going to slide up from the 5th fret to the 7th fret on your G, and then hit the 8th fret on your B, and then 6th fret, slide down to the 5th fret, another grace note slide, 3rd fret, quite a typical kind of bluesy. You often see that kind of thing where you slide up and hit the dominant 7th there. But here he's going up and hitting the root note. Hitting that G at the top. Sounds pretty cool. And then we have this little lick. Like this. So again, it's that G minor pentatonic pattern. Bend the 5th fret up, 3rd fret, 6th fret, 3rd fret, 6th fret, up to the 8th fret, bend it up half tone, and then up and down. So, slow bend up on the 5th fret, like that. And then we're repeating what we've already done. But the next time this comes in, bars 23 and 24, so again, this is quite a common technique that people use. So what we're doing, by doing that, you bent this note up, you're hitting this here, which you would think would be an E flat, but because you bent it up, it's actually an F, because you bent that up a full tone. It's a bit like going, similar kind of effect. You can see Theo doing that on the video if you watch the video for Radio Shack. And then it finishes off 3rd fret. Like that. Then we go back to that keyboard melody, which I'm not going to go through again in any detail. We go through all the way through that. But at the end we have this lick that's in harmony with the other distorted guitar and the synth, and goes. Remember, the other guitar was going. So we're basically adding a harmony in. Kind of like that, I guess. So 3rd fret, slide it in. As we said earlier, briefly moving into the key of E major there. And then we go into the second melody that keeps coming. Back to B flat major. Again, it's a fairly simple melody, so I'll let you work that out yourself from the tablature and playing along with it. There's a couple of variations that come through, so the next time, after we, instead of just, we've got slide up to the 9th fret as well. And then we finish off. Quite a lot of sliding going on here. And then that bar finishes. And repeats again. Which is the same as the opening bar for Theo, where we went this time we're bending up to that D, and then rest, and then release it back down, and then back into the. So I'm not going to go through each variation. Let's just look at the licks he's playing at the end. The first time round. Again, kind of going down on the pentatonic. 5 3 5 3 5 1 3 1 the next section he's doing some tapping bends again. Now it's very difficult to work out what he's playing because there's a lot of strings ringing out here. So I think what's happening, bending up, hitting the 8th fret on your G, releasing it, hitting the 11th fret on your D, and the 15th fret on your D, and then releasing it, so something like that. So ultimately you're getting that, it's giving that kind of melody. There's a lot of bending and strange string sounds going on through that. And then we have a slide up and a bit of a scratch. Have a look at him playing that on the video. It looks to be kind of where he's tapping, although the snare drum's slightly in the way so you can't see exactly. But even when you slow it down it's not exactly clear what's going on at that point. Okay, the next variation. So we're just doing 5th fret bend up on the G string to the 6th fret, and including the 6th fret on your B string, and 3, 5, 3 on your G and D. And the next variation we do the again, and then the end of the bar goes something like that, so hitting the 3rd fret on your G and B, sliding up from the 5th and the 6th to the 7th and the 8th on your B and G strings, so it's the same notes. And then 6th fret, slide up 8th to the 10th, then 10th to the 8th, finishing up on the 6th fret. And then we go back into the keyboard melody again. This time round, I think Theo is playing the same as what he did the first time. The other guitar part that's changing. We're then back to the other melody, but it changes a little bit at times here. And finishes like that. So have a look through the tablature. There's nothing particularly complicated in there. The next part has a bit of chromaticism in it. The final part, kind of moving up the top E string, like that. So you're sliding up 8th to the 10th to the 12th, which doesn't really belong in there, and then the 11th to the 13th, back to the 11th. That's the next bit. So again, there's a few 30-second notes coming in here. They're all relatively simple licks, it's getting the timing of them right, so play it along with the record. Next bit. So we're moving up the fretboard here to the 13th and then up to the 15th fret and then up to the 18th fret. And then we're going to repeat the melody. So we're playing down here, but we're playing it up the octave. So he's moved himself up. That bit repeats 3 times, and then we finish with so we're moving up to this, and then finishing with the same rhythm pattern that Cory was playing. What we're doing down here, 11th fret, and 13th. That's the end of the song. So I've gone through some of that quite quickly. I think a lot of the licks are relatively self-explanatory with the tablature and having listened to it. Hopefully enough in there for you to be able to play along with the song and have some fun with it. Once again, some really cool licks in there that you can reapply. Stay tuned if you want to see the Guitar Pro playthrough, so you can see the tablature and how it all fits together. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon with another video.